The function f has domain 6 to infinity and is defined by f of x equals 3 minus 1 over the square root of x minus 2. Find an expression for f to the minus 1 of x and write down the domain of f to the minus 1, the inverse function. So here we go. Let's have a look at it. Here's the question in summary form then. So let's replace f of x by y. 3 minus 1 over the square root of x minus 2. Let's move this object over to the left. 1 over the square root of x minus 2 is equal to, leave the 3 as is, and also move the y over to be with the 3 to be minus y. Square both sides then. 1 over x minus 2 then will equal this 3 minus y object. Put it in a bracket. It's squared because we squared this side and that side. 1 squared is still 1. So that tells us now then, move the x minus 2 up and move the 3 minus y down below on the other side. Do those two things at the same time. And then we're going to read the equation from right to left, but we're going to move the 2 over to be on the other side. So x on the right, and move the 2 over to be with this stuff, 1 over 3 minus y, all squared. And the 2 comes over to be with it to be plus 2. So now we can read off the inverse function now by swapping the symbols. So the inverse function of x is equal to, and change the x to a y and the y to an x, so to speak, 1 over 3 minus x squared plus 2. And there's our inverse function. Domain will be the range of this function. Basically, the domain of f minus 1 is simply the range of this function. So part B. So we've got this function. What is its range? Okay, its domain is 6 infinity. So it's defined on 6 to infinity. Right, so 3 minus 1 over, that's 6. If you put 6 in here, if we were drawing a graph of it, here's 6. And as x tends to infinity, 1 over infinity will be really, really small, so it will tend to 3. So it will go up to 3, won't it? And it will just tend toward 3 as x gets larger and larger and larger. But when x is 6 minus 2 is 4, square root of 4 is 2, 3 minus half is 2.5, so it actually is 2.5 here, or 2.5. It hits this value, because it can touch 6, but it doesn't hit this value, so a curved bracket there. And that to me looks like the range there. So here by inspection, or here, we see that range of the function f. It just increases because the nature of this 1 over square root value, as x gets large, this gets large, just continues to increase in value. And 1 over just diminishes in value, so 3 minus a diminishing value will just go upwards, won't it? X gets to like 1,000,000, you get 1 over a square root of 1,000,000, say, roughly, is really, really small, so it goes up to 3, doesn't it? But it never touches it. And the smallest value then will be at 6, and you put 6 in, you get 3 minus root 4, 1 over root 4, which is 2, 3 minus a half is 2.5. So the range, we've just double checked it now, is 2.5 to 3. So the domain then of f, so the domain of the inverse function is equal to the range of f, 2.5 up to and not including 3.